everybody, and welcome to this episode of the Reset Podcast. I'm your host, Sonia, and today I have the incredible honor of having Kalieha Stapleton, who is an operational and change management specialist on the communication side, and a vocalist, which might be a heads up about what's going to happen at the end of this podcast. I can't wait to have you share a story, so let's dive right on in. Hi, Kalieha.
Hello. How are you, Laura?
I'm good. I want to make you do something.
Oh, yay!
Because this is the first time ever in 300 some odd episodes I can actually make somebody do something. So I'm like,
yeah. I'm excited.
You better be. So I'm gonna dive right into the podcast. The very first question: what is your all-time favorite job?
Ooh. This is going to sound so random, and it has nothing to do with the jobs that I do now, but one of my all-time favorite jobs that I have had, I used to work overnight at a Tim Hortons, which is like a Dunkin' Donuts, and it was something about working overnights, and it's just a very super random, quiet job, but because we set up everything for everybody in the morning, if we weren't super specific with everything that we did, nothing in the morning would go right. So that job really showed me how important a lot of the jobs that I do at other places, like why they're so important and why if I'm not taking ownership of anything that I'm supposed to do, I saw that direct result of things not being done. So that was one of the jobs that really, enforced me empowered me to make sure that I took accountability for all of my work, because I did used to be someone that's like, okay, I'm going to my job, I'm clocking in, clocking out. And some jobs that's super good, but that is one job that has actually propelled me at all of my other jobs, because I took what I learned from there and making sure that I took complete ownership and knew exactly what I was doing at that job and made sure that everybody else was able to go on and do their stuff. And it's also why now I am super... everybody needs to do what they're supposed to do, because if you don't do it, you're going to be the reason that this machine breaks down. So that's another thing. Like I always tell people when I'm working with them, that's how I make sure that they know why your job is important. Because, sometimes when you're working somewhere, it's like, okay, I know that these tasks have to be done every Monday, but I never see the end result of this. It just feels like I'm checking off a box. And when people are able to see, if I don't check off my box, there's 5 other boxes that don't get done. So that's why that very random job is one of my favorite jobs.
Well, it's interesting because, like I said, I was saying to another guest earlier that, like, I used to have the question be, what was your first job? And everyone's first job correlated to what they do now. And like, in 300 some odd episodes, it was the same thing. So I changed the question this year to be, what's your all-time favorite job? And it's the same thing. Like, whatever job you are doing relates to what you're doing right now, whether it's the job you're doing right now or like it taught you and set you up because like you learned so much from that first job or that favorite job that again empowers you the most, that you're like, yep, that's how I do things now. So yeah. it really is sort of a really weird synergy. Like someone should do some research about that. Not me.
Yeah. And that wasn't even my first choice as a job. It just happened. And then
it just happened.
Everything
it took you there. So now, all right. So now we've got you as awesome Kalieha. How did we get here? Like, what's your story? What was the journey?
Oh, the journey. Okay. So I always like to start off with, I originally wanted to go into forensics. I wanted to be a forensics lab technician because loved chemistry and the way that everything, I know. Whenever I tell people that, that's always my fun, like truth and a lie. But in finding out that when you're a forensics lab technician, you have a very quick ceiling to hit. Like you're either working for a public company or a private, or you're working for the state. So I was like, oh, I used to like to make clothes when I was younger. I'm going to be a fashion designer. So then I went to Michigan State for apparel textile design. But while I was there, they also taught us some things about the business of fashion. And I realized that is what I was more interested in. And I also liked knowing how things were made from the beginning. So learning how to make clothing and then knowing why all of the stuff had to happen after the clothing was made to then make sure that it sells, seeing that full business picture is what then pushed me to try and learn about all different types of businesses. So when I finally left and I graduated, I moved from Michigan to New York. Like all of the wild New York stories, I came with a one-way ticket and $1,000. But I had an internship and I was determined to make that internship turn into a job. So I did what most people love to do when you make yourself irreplaceable. I put my hands in so many things during that 10 weeks. When it was over, they were like, you don't have to leave. And I said, oh, that's so nice. I will stay. So then I started working in their production department because they already had a designer. So I started working in production, and in production, that's where I finished learning the end of the life cycle of clothing. So in school, I had learned how to make it, how to market it. And then when I got out of school, and my boss loved to say, this is like a free grad school, which it was to his credit, I got to learn everything else after. So from shipping our things over to the warehouses, warehouse management, learning about our GP and making sure we're actually making money on the clothes that we were selling. Like they put me into the business, which was great. That the pros and cons of working for a family business, you learn a lot, but then sometimes you learn too much. So then you gotta go. Because when you know too much, then it's like, oh no, we're never putting you up. You have to stay right here. That's it. So
Huge ceiling. Can't get
yes,
past that.
you hit
Yeah.
that ceiling, and it was frustrating because I was enjoying making the business better, but because I was hitting that ceiling, I knew that no matter how good I made the business, I was not going to get any. I wasn't going to get it. Not that I wasn't going to get any credit, but I wasn't going to get any credit. Like it, all these things would change and things would go so well and be so good, and it would just be my boss like, "Yeah, look what I did," and it's like, "You didn't do anything." So then we left, went to another company, and then the panoramic happened, the pandemic. She got me furloughed. So I had to sit down at home. And if it's nothing like a Black woman, I got bored and decided to make a business. So I was taking all of the things that I had learned in these previous jobs. And I realized I loved being a serial starter. Like I would learn everything that it took to learn to create a company. I started doing stationery. I was making home cosmetics. I was doing candles. I was making swimsuits. I was just doing stuff. But then as I realized, I just want to run the business. I don't want to actually do the things for the business. So that's when I said, hey, friends, I know you guys have a lot of business ideas. Let me help you set those businesses up because I understand all of the steps that you have to take to get it started and how you need to structure everything and make sure it all works right. And you can just worry about creating your products, making the business be the business. So after that, I got a couple of clients. One of my first super serious clients was a floral shop out here in Brooklyn called Stems. They let me do a complete brand redesign, and we got to do some marketing material for them. So I did their cards that they send out. We like redesigned their cards, redid their website, imagery, everything, and it was so fun. So they recommended me to other people, and then I had K&S Consulting and Design, where I started designing things for people, giving them brand redesigns, giving them revised company SOPs, just kind of coming in. I would sit there like a fly on the wall and say, oh, okay, I can see why this is working because this isn't working. And then help them fix it. And from that, I started working, doing social media management for a Juneteenth Unity Fest. I did their social media management when they first had their online version during the pandemic. So all their live tweets, live Instagram, everything. That was great. But from that, I then met my current boss and I was doing social media for them. But you know how sometimes when you're doing social media and the strategy, you're talking through, okay, well, if we're focusing on this for this, we should focus on this for social, but maybe that's not working for this. And then in talking, I started saying more and more things where it's like, you know more than social media, don't you? I was like, oh yeah, do you want to just talk through this and this? Because I had a great idea for this. Thus, I became a chief of staff. And that's when I started doing fractional chief of staff work, which has been phenomenal because it's actually encompassing everything that I've done from all of my jobs. I'm just not like the boss, but you basically are because as a chief of staff, your direct report, this person looks to you for so much strategic thinking and so much, you're a buffer, right, for them and other people. So in doing this chief of staff work, I have learned that one, and I feel like people say this all the time, everything happens for a reason because every single random job that I've had along the way has informed the way that I approach being a chief of staff so much so where it's like, you're essentially one person that understands every aspect of the business and can speak to every aspect of the business, but in even more depth than the CEO may be able to, because they're not hands on in it every day. So sometimes they're looking to you for an answer that they're then going to give everybody else. So that has been a very empowering experience these past few years, to have, someone that is in that leadership position that trusts you. That trust is one thing that I do not take that for granted. Like, I feel like that is something that I worked hard for and am so grateful that there's like, oh yeah, I say we should do this. And they go, okay.
So I love how when before we started this interview and I asked you what your title was, you gave me like 18 different things, and none of them were fractional chief of staff.
Okay.
Why do you just say that?
Because
Why
to
do
be
you
fair,
just...
and like, you know why? And I've been dealing with this lately, and I know it's something that
If you give me some some bullshit, I will
I
slap you
wasn't gonna
to the
say that.
side.
What I was gonna
Okay.
say is, because it's I was gonna make a joke about fractional. It's just because I'm thinking about so many different things at once. Sometimes one of them runs too fast, and I don't have it right there at the front of my mind, which is not a great excuse, because we were just talking about how you have to talk yourself up and tell everybody what you do, because if they don't know, how can they then pay you? So think of this episode as an exercise, and you know who you are, just say that.
I think I have a title for this episode. I think that's just because I feel like this is a therapy session for you, Kalieha. It's like, you were like amazing at several things that encapsulate a chief of staff, and we just have to have you enunciate that is actually what you do.
Yes, yes. And it's interesting too, because with that position, there is a bit of, you're still behind the scenes, like you're still supposed to operate in that gray area. And I've been putting that on the forefront of how I speak about the role, instead of just thinking that's how you operate. Sometimes that's not your, 100%.
Yeah, because like everyone knows the chief of staff is the actual person in charge. Like that actually is like, I mean, I'm waiting for the day with all of my insane businesses that I can actually hire a chief of staff, because I want somebody else to do the thinking for me. So
Listen, and it is
yes.
something that you can't pass off some of this type of strategic thinking to Chat GPT or to Claude or all of those friends. Like, they can operate as someone, but there's a nuance to a lot of
That needs a
decisions.
human.
Yes,
You
like
need you're an actual human who has like discernment, like that, and has lived in the real world and
a moral
understands the
compass.
compass, moral compass. The ability to think of like that's a good idea, but also dangerous.
Yes,
Um,
like the implications
right,
are insane.
not good. Just saying,
Mm-mm.
not good. But okay, we're getting going through therapy here at Red Star
Oh,
Podcast. It's clear. It's
we
all
love
good.
that.
Okay, so thinking about um, all the really awesome stuff that you've done, I feel like this is going to be a very interesting answer.
Oh.
Tell me about a time when you're like, there's no way you're going to figure this out, and then you did. See, I knew it. I
This
knew it.
is because what's even funnier is this is another random job that I used to have.
Oh God.
So
Oh.
I I had a friend who worked with a production company, like a filming company, and they needed a very specific vacuum cleaner. But their client had the vacuum cleaner at their house here in New Jersey, and they needed it in LA the next day. So I was tasked with figuring out how to get this. I think it was like it was like a $2,500 vacuum cleaner, just like all this fancy extra stuff. So we were trying to figure out how to get it there. So we came up with the crazy idea for me to fly to LA for one day to put the vacuum cleaner on as my carry-on to
I
get
had
it.
a feeling you. I had a feeling you were gonna go there, but I was like, no,
Because we were
no.
thinking we were gonna just rent a car. I was like, oh my God, this is gonna take so long. Why would we just fly? And he was like, wait, you can fly with random shaped things, right? I've never done like the odd shaped packages that you like when people ship with their skis or stuff like that. Like, I had never did that.
Hmm.
So that was our first thing that came to mind was, let's ship it. Like, we can ship it. But the cost to ship it was twice as
It was
much as
cheaper
the
than your
flight.
flight.
So I ended up on a flight the next morning with a vacuum cleaner. Thankfully, I didn't have to hold it next to me. It was actually checked under in the stove. But I
Okay,
was like,
okay, good, good.
this is that was another that's an example of that forward thinking, especially when you're in the chief of staff role. You have to think of some random ways to make things happen, and working in events, because
Yes.
we do events in the role that I am the chief of staff. So doing events, all of those fun last minute. What do you mean the person that's supposed to be on stage hasn't landed from their flight? They're speaking in
Story of
20
my life.
minutes.
Story of my life. Listen, I have had enough insane foolishness, and I will not even explain to you some of the insane places I've had to find things around the world, some of which are quite dangerous, like when people getting shot, and and not being able to
They
deliver
had
stuff
where the
for us.
cartels were.
I will either confirm or deny that maybe some of the people who work for me might have been stopped by cartels. Uh, I will.
To the
Let's
end of
not
the earth to
confirm.
get it done.
Who knows? Again, I don't know. I wasn't there, so that's just a story I heard, allegedly. So yeah, understood. Okay, so you've left out part of your story, and you need to talk about it. Um, I heard because I saw and heard your music that you sing. How'd that come to be?
So, when we talk about just doing things all the time and not thinking about it, I've actually been singing, and this is the fun age old. I actually have been singing since I was 3 years
Oh,
old. I
baby.
grew up in church. My mom did choir, she did praise team. And when I was younger, I was a mimicker. Like, I'd like to mimic people because that's how I learned faster. If I saw somebody, I mimicked it. So she would rehearse in the mornings. So I would just mimic her rehearsing the songs. And then she's like, wait a minute, you actually sound good. I said, oh, thank you. I sound like you. And then from there, I was doing, kids choir in church. In college, I did choir. High school, I did choir. I started putting out music because I told someone I sing one day, and they said, oh, you have nothing out? And I was like, no, I've never recorded. I just, I sing, I write songs and stuff. We went to the studio that day. So that very random person whose name, God forgive me, I cannot remember, is the reason that I ended up recording my first song back in 2019. Um, and from there, it has been an amazing experience because I was able to perform at SOBs once before. They had an event where they had like newer artists that were able to perform there. Um, and and of course, in pandemic style, I had planned at the top of the pandemic, I was supposed to be doing a mini tour. I was finally going to go home back to Michigan and perform there for the first time. I had some places down south that I was going to go to. Pandemic said no, sit in the house. So I just made more music. And funny enough, the music that I made then is actually one of my most popular songs. It's a song called I'm So Proud of You. And it is a very uplifting, positive song. What I've noticed is that it's used during graduation season for parents. There's like, I'm so proud of you, because one of the lines is, I'm so proud of you, you made it this far, I'm so proud of you, you worked so hard to get to where you are, can't believe you got this far, and no matter what you do, know that I'm so proud of you. So I got some, and then I got some big names there, like one of my happiest, I was so surprised, LeBron James' wife Savannah James used it to celebrate her birthday a couple years ago on Instagram. So it's like right there, and I was like, oh my gosh, Savannah, your face is telling me. To be fair, I posted that. It is out online. I've talked about it before. It is just not at the top of conversation when I'm talking about my business.
Kalieha. Okay.
You know what it is? You just pull it out. Keep pulling it out. Because it's a long string. It's like that. When the clowns, they've got the the napkin trick when they're pulling it out. Just keep pulling it out.
Mm-hmm.
Keeps coming out.
That's more. Again, this is clearly a therapy session for you because we're like just. I
So true.
mean, they're. Yeah,
I also
it's like.
put things out on YouTube. Like, create content on YouTube, so I talk about these things on there as well. So I do talk about it. I just don't talk about it all the time. And newer people don't know because I don't talk about it all the time. But this is the start. We love this.
Good.
Black History
We
Month.
love this.
I love
Cool.
it.
It's obviously it's a Black History Month gift, obviously, because again, like you're kind of amazing, darling. You might want to talk your shit. Just
And this is why you're here.
yes, that. I am here to guide and to lead, and help you figure this stuff out. And so I can't believe I asked this now, but of all the things that you've done, what would you say is a thing that you are the most grateful for right now?
Hmm. Ooh, that is a tough one.
I know.
Wow. What is one thing that I'm most grateful that I was able to do? Huh. Oh, I know. Through the work that I do, and it was when I was still working for other companies, I am very proud of the SOPs and like different changes in the workplace that I was able to implement at other jobs because those changes helped give a voice to my coworkers where they actually felt heard and understood and knew what was going on at their job instead of just feeling like they were existing inside of a hole and somebody was just giving them tasks and telling them what to do. They were heard and they felt better. So I feel like a lot of the things that I do make people feel better or just make them feel, period. So like with the music, with the changes that I make with businesses, with the things that I create on YouTube, what I look at all of them as is different forms of art that then are able to impress upon people a different way of thinking about life or viewing their situations, right? Because there's a lot of things that happen in our workplaces day to day where 100% it is not that deep. Like this is not that important in the grand scheme of things. And it is something that people just harper on. So giving someone a voice to say, okay, this is important, but this is not important. This doesn't really affect me, and they actually feel good about it, like it's not just words or corporate speak, like they feel better. That is something that I'm the most grateful to be able to do. Anything that I'm able to put out and it can then give somebody what they need to put out more good.
So people can feel your impact, is what you're saying.
Yes, yes, like that's what I'm super grateful for because I can actually hear people say, oh my gosh, like you did this and then this happened, like that. I start crying like a parent.
Good Lord. Okay. All right.
My bad, I'm such a
All
kid.
right. You were quite the character, my darling. All right. With all that you have learned in your varied experiences that are quite amazing, what do you think you'd tell 18-year-old Kalieha?
Ooh, to stop overthinking it, to just exist in everything that's happening and like experience it so you don't have to go off of other people's memories of what happened because you should be in that moment. Everything else that needs to be done will get done. And you're going to end up where you're supposed to be because everything happens as it happens. You can't force it. It's not going to happen faster just because you want it harder. You just have to keep doing what you're doing because what you're doing is working because look, it worked.
Yeah,
That's what I'm
yeah.
telling.
I think that's fantastic advice. And it's so important because I think folks just, again, think it's everything has to be perfect and wonderful. And like the plan is the plan is the plan. And it's like, that's not it. It just, there's so many different things. And, if you told someone, if someone had told me 20 years ago what I'd be doing now, where I'd be currently sitting right now,
Yeah.
I was like, huh? No. Like, what are you talking about? I couldn't even ponder it, much less us talking like this on a podcast, which 20 years ago
Right.
did not exist. So you never know where things are going to lead. So there's no reason to freak out about any of this stuff. Just be like, all right, bet we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Speaking of figuring it out, now that I know that you sing, um, And in 370 odd episodes, I think 380, who the hell knows? I've never had someone who's a professional singer on the show. So
I get to be the first.
normally you get to be you're the Rosa Parks of singing on space. Like that's who you are. First of time.
What a title. All right, I will do right by
I figured that would make you laugh. So, it's my running joke whenever I say I want to be the first or something. Like whenever I've dated a number of white guys in my life, and I always said I don't want to be the Rosa Parks of your dating life. Like you should have dated some other black woman before me.
Who? Yeah. I would have loved to hear you say that to some.
I have said it loud. I have said it to people. I have said it to their face. Like, have you ever dated
The
a
way
black
that I
woman?
know
And like,
that you have,
no. Like,
I
I don't
believe
want to be
you.
Rosa Parks. Um, Cause yeah, so yeah, so you're the Rosa Parks of the reset now, the first singer of all time. Like no pressure at all.
No.
But what I will do, but like I said, I normally the last question is give a giver and ask. Obviously, we're gonna put all your details in the show notes for folks to find your music, find you, hire you,
Yes.
and sing your praises. However, I think it's better to actually have you sing us out of the show. So pick a song that's probably yours that you own, um, and you can sing for what do you want to do? A minute,
Yeah, we can do a
30
minute.
seconds.
Yeah, because then I have a song.
What
that I can do.
what do you actually feel comfortable doing? Like I'm not going to be that evil.
So I have a song that actually
Uh,
just came out on February 2nd that I could do, and I could get you the chorus and the verse. So I got you.
all right. So for the very first time on the Refresh podcast, we have a musical artist, the wonderful Kalieha Stapleton, and she's going to sing us out. Go ahead, girl.
Okay, the name of this song is Anomaly. It's an in and out process. Curves are very low, no even less. Swipe right then left to find the best. But you won't go away. Every combo starts out as a test. How close can you get to my heart? Well, you've got a head start. 'Cause you're an anomaly. You see all the parts of me that I thought I could hide away in my secret place I made entirely. Love me in no privacy bedroll. Will you see it all? There you go. Thank you so
That
much.
was amazing. You were so damn talented. Just tell more people.
Yes,
Good
ma'am.
God. Shit. Like, Jesus. Kalieha, you're so amazing. I adore you. And we'll put, again, all details in the show notes for folks to find your music, stream your music, buy your music, and pay you to come perform, as well
Yes,
as obviously
please.
your
I love
other
performing.
amazing work. I would have never guessed what. So, um, but yes, I would love to have you. And thanks again for being a part of the Recharge podcast and being part of 29 Days of Magic. Like this is absolutely magical, and I'm so glad we were able to do this. So thanks again.
Thank you for having me.
Awesome, and that is our show.